All right, let's just talk a little bit about selecting objects, selecting methods. Okay, so you can select objects in a couple of different ways. So obviously one way is to hover over it and then pick on it. Okay, if you just go and pick another object, it trades that object for the previous object. So if you just keep picking objects, it'll cancel the previous click. If you hold your control button in, you can't see it on my mouse, but you get a little plus sign, and that lets you select more than one object. You can let go of the control button and repress it as many times as you want. As long as you don't pick something, it will leave those selected. Okay, so if you use your control button and pick a few objects, you can leave your mouse, you don't have to press anything, they'll stay selected until you go and pick something, and then it'll cancel out that previous selection. And then to cancel that, you pick nothing. So whenever you have some objects picked, if you want to cancel your selection, just pick in the middle of nowhere and it cancels it. Or you can always pick your modify, or you can hit escape on your keyboard. So that's the kind of the first way, is using your control button. Okay, you can also remove objects using your shift key. Use your shift key, click, 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 removes. So control adds, shift removes. Okay, clicking out. Now if we do a window box, we go from right to the left. If you go left to right, it's a crossing box. Window box only gathers objects that are 100% within the box. This wall extends all the way down. Okay, when you have a wall that's continuous like this, don't stop and start it at each junction. Make that one big wall. Notice how that's one big wall. Okay, this stops and starts because the wall changes. So if you do a window box, it grabs everything within the box. Okay, you can still use your control button and do another window box. Okay, or you can individually select. So after that first selection, you can hold your control button in and select more objects. You can continue using a shift to select. You can shift and do a window box. So shift window box removes, control window box adds. Okay, and then we have what is called a crossing box. I'm just going to click out here. Crossing box goes to the left. Anything it touches will get selected, including the floor down below, which is why it's all highlighted. Okay, if you use a shift key and do a crossing box, it'll remove the objects that you crossed. So the long and short of it is the control key and the shift key add and remove objects. Right is a window box, left is a crossing box, and then you have your individual selection. So between individually selecting, windowing, crossing, okay, it doesn't matter if it's up or down, window box, crossing box, okay, and using your control. If you want to do more than one window box, if you do a window box and you want to do more somewhere else, don't forget to hold your control button in, or else it'll cancel the original selection. Okay, you can select all those objects. If you go to your second floor and they project up into here, you'll see them. If you go back to your main floor, they're still selected. So you can select objects in more than one view. Okay, other than the default 3D view. If you go to your 3D default view, it will cancel your selection. Okay, if you go to your default 3D view, I'm just going to cancel this request to save. Same thing with selecting. Window box, okay, crossing box. Be careful with your press and drag, because your press and drag means that if you pick to press and move something, it'll actually try to move the object. So sometimes you have to turn this off when you're doing window box and crossing box. Okay, so adding and removing, window. Okay, if I grab all those objects and go to my second floor, okay, oh, it does leave them selected. So if you grab them in the default 3D view and go to a plan view or something, it'll keep them selected. But when you go back to the 3D view, it actually deselects them. It's the only one where it won't keep your selection set. But for the most part, you can go from view to view and select different objects. Okay, so that's kind of the add and remove standard selecting. Then we have our tab option. Okay, if you are zoomed out and you're in a busy area, you can hover over here and go tab, 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 and it'll cycle through all the objects in the area. Tab, tab, tab. Okay, so if you're in here, look at your status bar down inside of here. Okay, first it says window casement double, then it says basic wall, then it says chain of walls. Okay, then it says grid line 1, and then it's back to the window again. Okay, so if I zoom out and I go tab, tab, okay, notice it grabs all those walls. So if you hover near a wall and you use your tab key, it'll find that chain of walls and then you click. Okay, watch. Hover, tab to grab the chain, click. Okay, same as it somewhere inside of here. Hover over, well, I could hover over here, tab, click. It'll grab those objects. And then from there I can, change the properties. Okay, I haven't talked about what you do with them once you get them. I'm just talking really about selecting the objects. If you click on this dimension, you can see the properties. There's not much there. If you go edit type, you'll see there's a lot of information. If you want to change that dimension type, you should probably duplicate, rename it, give it a different name, and then change your properties. Otherwise, maybe your intention is to change all of them. If you don't rename it and change your properties after you've selected it, then what happens is all of those instances that are of this type will update. So that's a powerful thing. That's good. You want it that way, so that if I change this, it changes all the dimensions in the project. Okay. So same thing as if you're, anytime you need to select anything, okay, tab, 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 because it gets busy. Okay, and you can't always grab the object you want, and you can use your tab key along with your selecting and your shift, because you can shift tab as well. So watch, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to go like this and grab all this stuff. Now I'm going to go in. I'm going to hover over this wall. I'm going to use my shift key and I'm going to hit tab. Tab. Oh, actually what I'm going to do is just go tab and then shift click. That'll remove it. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Grab a bunch of objects. And I want to remove that chain of walls. So my hands aren't on anything right now. They were just selected, right? I just did a big window box and did my selection. Now I'm going to go down here, wheel in, hover over here, hit tab first, then hold my shift key in and make the selection. Now those have been deselected, and then I can either move them or copy and paste them or do whatever I want with them. Okay, I'm selecting them for a reason. Maybe I'm moving them, mirroring them, rotating, who knows what. Okay, so in this case, okay, you can use a tab to remove stuff. Watch, I'll do it again here. Do a big window box. Okay, I'm going to hover over this lower wall. I'm going to need to go tab, and then holding my shift key in now, click. Okay, as opposed to just creating a selection set where I just hit escape there, is hover, tab, select. That would select them. Okay, I'm using the hover, tab, shift, select. Okay, watch, we'll do another one here. Watch, I'll go hover, tab, select. Now my hands are off the mouse, off the keyboard, it's been selected. Okay, now my hand's back on the mouse, over to the keyboard. Now I want to add these guys in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tab once, hover, tab, then hold my control button in and click. And I had to hold my control button in because if I didn't, it would have deselected the first selection. That rule still applies. If you don't use the control button and you make a new selection, it will cancel the first selection. Okay, I'll do that one more time. Hover, tab, click, selects that. Now, if I just go up to here and go tab, click, it'll deselect the first one. So that's why you have to hover, tab, and then control on the keyboard, click. And then after that, there are all these walls, and I can go and either change the properties of that wall, or I can change them to a different type of wall. If I go and say, okay, you guys are all brick walls, then that's it. Now I've got a brick building. Okay, so it's really easy to do all kinds of changes once you learn how to select stuff. Okay, I'm just going to undo that one. Okay, so those are really the basics of selecting, and then we have our filter object. Okay, which means after you've done all your selecting, be it a window or a crossing or a hover, tab, select, shift, remove, control, all of that stuff. Okay, once you have the object selected, if you have multiple categories, you'll see this filter guy show up. Okay, it used to be down in here and they've moved it up here. So now you click filter and it says there's 10 dimensions, 6 doors, 1 floor, 4 grids, 1 view, which is a viewport, 4 walls, 12 windows. Well, I can go in here now and say check none, and then just click on the window one and say okay, and it'll just grab the windows. Then I can take all these windows and change them to a different size, and there you go. Really quick. Okay, go to a 3D view, and there's my windows all changed. Okay, so you can do that in any view. You can be in a 3D view, 2D view, pick on here, go into the filter, and then check none and pick whichever ones you want off of here. It doesn't matter which ones you want, you have. And then hit OK, and from there you can rotate and copy and offset, and you can't really offset, but you can move, copy, rotate, okay, turn off the category, do all kinds of stuff, right? This is all available once you've selected, and you can use the filter option to help you filter that selection.